Legend of Mana for the PlayStation 1 was a great addition to the Mana series, but it seemed to have one main issue. Nobody I knew wanted to fucking play it. Trying to talk about this game with my friends always boiled down to, I couldn't get into it, or it strayed too far away from the classic. I think it was lost in the overshadow of the other Square games that were released that year, like Vagrant Story and the always anticipated Final Fantasy title. 18 years too late, but I'm still looking to spread the word. Let's dive into all things worth mentioning. This is Heretic Edge, and welcome to the Legend of Manas. Let's talk about battle first. Everybody loves killing shit. Unlike Secret of Mana, the battle is designed to be more of a complex beat-em-up game. You walk up, you smash a bunny with no arms and legs. After you scatter its rodent bones everywhere, you rob it of its cash and crystallize experience. But before you collect enough to advance a level, I will tell you something that the game does not. Depending on the weapon you have equipped when you level up, this will change which stats increase. The game incentivizes variety even further by having another hidden stat for ability and tech learning. Abilities are basic combat and supportive maneuvers that can change up the flow of battle. Crouch is for healing, jump is for jumping, and so on. I would say use the abilities to match your playstyle, however there's another unseen factor to this system. If you crouch before jumping, you can create a high jump. And if you rack up more XP with both jumps equipped, you can learn double jump. These combinations are pretty vast, so learning them all takes time. Mastering the abilities and racking up battle victories is vital for learning special techniques for your weapon of choice. As you learn more advanced abilities, your techniques will also strengthen in yet another unknown stat of medium, minor, and major damage increases. Damage is broken down into 4 subcategories to oppose the defense stats of strikes, slashes, thrusts, and magic. Each weapon has different damage types, so you can adjust to the monster that you're having a hard time with. They also have their own movement speed factor, like running faster with a knife. The weapons are paired with plunge attacks that require Street Fighter-like sequence combinations to use, like down diagonal forward or forward back forward. These plunge attacks are used to link together a string of attacks called sweeps that could end combinations with a beneficial effect, like spawning a healing item or stunning an enemy. Now that we have all that out of the way, let's see the action. I think we're ready to fuck shit up. Oh, come on! And this is why the average gamer dropped out like a high school entrepreneur. It's so fucking awkward just to line up your character with what you're attempting to hit. Why does this game make me feel I have the depth perception of a pirate? It's not very forgiving. You better be looking dead in those creatures' eyes or else you're just simply not seeing it. Thank the mana gods for having giant bosses to wail on. But then there's this. Let's continue. The entire game is broken down in a small quest, and this includes the main storyline. Rushing through a completion will take roughly 4 hours, but to explore the game at its fullest potential could take all summer long. I won't say much to avoid spoiling, but if you're not already a Mana fan, the story kinda goes like this. Save the world tree, or live in chaos. Times were simple back then. The music and art style is expertly crafted and remains the main reason why I keep coming back to my PS1. Yoko Shimomura is no Uematsu, but is still amazingly gifted, and at this time, I was already a fan from the soundtracks of Super Mario RPG and Parasite Eve. And I'm grateful she was hired to compose a Kingdom Hearts series. Speaking of submerging yourself into this fantasy land, in Legend of Mana, you are allowed to create the world. Each artifact you receive is a small town or an area to explore. And each one comes with its own elemental levels, which can be altered by placing it to areas next to each other. These levels affect monster stats and can spawn spirit versions of the element in that location. If you lure them incorrectly, they can give you coins for tempering your equipment. Oh yeah, you have a forge. Tempering alone will take an entire video to explain. And you have a workshop, and a magic shop, and a treant friend that talks too much, so you gotta shove seeds down his throat to grow fruit. You wanna know what that fruit is for? It's to feed your Pokemans. That's my Pokemans. Breaking the battle mechanics by power canceling, jump canceling, or even just tapping a button in a slow enough rhythm to never end a combo, it used to make me feel like it ruined the gameplay, and it did to an extent. Watching speedrunners play Legend of Mana gave me a whole new light to look at the game. There's so many stat modifications and tricks to utilize, it's mind-blowing. It's like wave dashing and melee. Sometimes these mistakes just make the game fun. Although this sounds nitpicky for a PS1 game, the effort that was put forth for character building didn't match the simplicity of the monster development. All bosses felt like they had the same AI, and it wasn't necessary for you to have a well-balanced character or disparate team builds. Magic felt underpowered and had no utility. Maybe if you didn't fully heal after every fight, you would need to back up and just cast from afar. Even if you were lucky enough to have a friend who wants to play this with you, it won't take long to realize that the second player is super limited. They don't get item bonuses to stats, their gear, abilities, and techs cannot be changed unless you reset the game and load theirs. With all that said, I feel that Legend of Mana should not be forgotten. Building off of what was already created would have made for better Mana games in the future instead of the direction Square Enix chose to go. Indie designers should take this format and try to perfect it. Put it in a phone game or something, I don't give a shit. But until then, I guess this would just have to remain a legend that I now pass down to a new generation. And in you, it survives. Leave a comment if there's anything else you feel like discussing, and don't forget to hit that like button, smash and subscribe, and ring my bell, baby.